Southwest, Shea Moisture, Latto. Do y'all know y'all have 30 minutes? Yes, 30. Welcome back to another episode of Read Her Like a Book, a show where we read and then we read. Here, I connect what we always see in books to what we see in media today to encourage more people to think critically about the media we're consuming. I'm your host, Wadi, and new episodes drop every Thursday. Happy Thursday, y'all. Apologies for not getting last week's episode in. Work was crazy. It was actually heinous. I want to say a little shout out to me. Woo woo. I finished work on Thursday at 3 a.m. and I still got up at 6:15 for my workout class. I was really proud of myself. So I'm going to take a moment if you guys can clap for me. But before I get into the pages and get into everything, I thought it would be really cool to update y'all on the visual media I consumed this week because, the whole point is to get us thinking critically about the media we're consuming. So this past week, I started All American and I also finished All American. Season 1, I got all the way through season 1 through 13 episodes and it's just not for me. And I think All American, similar to like a lot of media we consumed in like 2016, 2017, you just had to be there in the moment. Like there are certain shows that have really great rewatchability. Like you can keep watching it 10, 15 years later. All American is just not that show for me, but it was nice to see representation. It was nice to see Black characters. A lot of shows, I think All American was on the CW. A lot of those shows at the time didn't have Black characters, Black leads. So I was glad for that regard, but that was a show where I was like, okay, I started it, I tried it, not for me. I also watched Josie and the Pussycats. It's a movie, and it's a 2000s movie, and I think I enjoyed it up to a point. So this movie, I won't spoil it, but the movie is about, the whole point of the movie is like how music companies are sending subliminal messages through their music to get people to consume, and kind of the opposite of individualism, like for all of us to collectively want and think the same things. The music industry uses music to create trends and then capitalizes on those trends. Like I feel like a really big trend right now that I hate are those barrel leg pants. I feel like everyone who wears them, they look bow leg, but like the music that we're listening to will tell us subliminally, buy those barrel leg pants. You need them. You need to be cool. Buy them, buy them, buy them. And then, of course, the music company, the person who owns the music company also owns the company that's like creating the pants. So, making the rich richer and then making the consumers think we all need to think a certain way. That was cool. I thought the ending kind of petered out for me, but I thought that was a really fun idea. And I also watched The Harder They Fall. It does have Jonathan Majors, and I know he's canceled, but it was like a black cowboy. It was on Netflix. Oh my God, let me go back. All Americans on Netflix. Josie and the Pussycats was on Amazon Prime, but it was free. And then The Harder They Fall is on Netflix. It's like a black Western. It's about like a black cowboy who something really bad happens in his childhood. So now he's trying to get his lick back about the person who inflicted that, inclecta. I'm just kidding. The person who caused that pain, and then, just like some Western stuff. It was so fun. I had my favorites. It had Idris. It had Regina King. It was a great, 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 great movie. And I love movies about new ideas. We're in this remake culture and it's getting a little tiresome. Like low key, the Hannah Montana reunion. I loved Hannah Montana growing up, but I don't know what the reunion will give me that I need. I don't know what it'll do for me. Am I going to watch it? I think it drops like, by the time I posted this, I think it's already been released. We're on this remake vibe, and I think we can get off it. On the same note, the Harry Potter HBO like TV show, I think the Harry Potter vibe is fine because there's so much in the books that wasn't shown in the movies, and I prefer the books to the movie, but I don't know if we need the same story over and over again. Like, I'm kind of over remake culture. Like, let's get new ideas, new people, fresh ideas. But I feel like with more media consolidation, they're less likely to take a risk. That's why you see majority of the media today is either remakes or adaptations from books, because these authors have already garnered support and attention. Like, on Netflix, there's two book to movie adaptations or book to TV show adaptations we've seen. Runaway by Harlan Coben and His and Hers by Alice Feeney. They were both great shows, but they were books first. It's like these studios, they don't want to just try something new. They want to already kind of roll off the momentum that these authors and that these previous works of art have created. And I'm like, let's get a new idea. Also, before I get into it, I am wearing a hat today. I'm not wearing any makeup. I am wearing lip gloss, but yes, apologies. Didn't feel like laying this lace down. Like, my hair is straight. My hair is done, but like I just didn't feel like gluing it down and laying it. So my apologies. Also, I tried to do the headband, but the headband wasn't cute, so I put on Old Faithful. I need to get a new hat. And then before I get into everything, I want to tell you something super exciting. I'm going to London and Paris, Euro World Tour. I'm going tomorrow, and so by the time this is posted, I would have left on Tuesday. I'm going with my sister. I'm super excited. I'm going to do 3 nights in London, 4 nights in Paris. I am very concerned about the airport situation. Like, it's actually getting worse. And there is so much going on, so I'm really excited for my trip, but I think the most stressful part of the trip will be actually leaving New York City, because with these lines and just, there's a lot of chaos happening at the airport. So I'm hoping it's all cleared up. My flight leaves at 10:30. I think me and my sister are going to get to the airport at like 3 p.m. Also, just a fun little razzle dazzle. Haven't packed a single thing. And I ordered clothes because I use Nuuly, like a clothing rental service. Ordered clothes. They should be getting here tomorrow. So, yeah. All right, y'all, let's get into the episode. Today's episode is about dramatic irony. So dramatic irony is whenever the reader knows something that the character doesn't, and this creates tension, it can create humor, can create conflict. And the biggest example, or I guess the most popular example from the pages, is Romeo and Juliet. If you were not forced to read Romeo and Juliet in high school, the whole idea is that it's 2 teenagers who are in love, but their families have beef. And so what they plan to do is run away together. So Juliet was like, all right, I'm going to take this little sleeping potion. But Juliet didn't tell Romeo. So Romeo was like, Juliet, Juliet. And then they're like, oh my God, Juliet's dead. And he's like, oh my God, Juliet's dead. But the reader knows Juliet's not dead. She just took a NyQuil, so she's out. And so he's like, all right, if she dead, then I'm dead. Boom. But he actually offs himself. And then when she wakes up and they're like, oh my God, Romeo, he's no longer, then she offs herself. And that was like dramatic irony that created tension and ultimately sadness, because the star-crossed lovers, their paths never crossed, and unfortunately they didn't get to live life and run away together. Another example of dramatic irony is from the book The Lagos Wife. It was previously titled The Niger Wife. It's by Vanessa Walters. In this book, obviously no spoilers, about a woman who's married to a Nigerian man, and she grew up in London, but he's Nigerian, so they moved to Nigeria. His dad is Oga, got a lot of money, is big mama, is a lot of money. So she's essentially a housewife, and she's miserable. And so the book starts off with her missing. We cannot find her. She's been missing for a couple days. Actually, low-key more like a week, 2 weeks. And it's like already not looking good. Because when folks missing for more than like 48 hours, first 48, so the book opens with Nicole, that's the one who's missing. We flip perspectives between her before she went missing and her aunt Claudine, who was looking for her. So Claudine is like, you know what, I haven't heard from Nicole. And then Claudine reaches out to Nicole's husband, and she's like, where Nicole at? And he's like, we ain't seen her in like a week or 2. So she's flying to Nigeria. She lands in Nigeria, and she's asking questions and gonna find answers. So the book creates dramatic irony because we know something, the reader, that Claudine, the aunt, does it. We know that Nicole has been shenaniganing. Is that the word? Engaging in shenanigans. We know with Nicole's pages, it's obviously in the past. So we know all that she's been doing, who she's been kikiing with, the things she's been doing. And then we flip to Claudine, the aunt, and she's asking questions. But as the reader, we know what's going on. And I feel like with dramatic irony, that's very a popular trope, or dramatic irony is very easy to recognize in these flipped perspectives books, especially when there's a time jump. A really good example of this is a lot of times you see in like those corny movies, we'll see someone like about to get punched, and it's like, whoa, let me tell you what happened here. And then they like zoom, they like rewind, and then we start from the beginning. So it's like, what's finna happen, but the characters don't. All right, let's get into my case studies. I'm just gonna say what I have to say for everything, because the case studies are case studying. So let's open up with Southwest. Right on trend and right on track with the airline industry today. The headline with Southwest is that they are they have 30 minutes. They have 30 minutes. They are 30 minutes from getting canceled if they haven't already been canceled completely. Sorry, if you hear that beeping, it's my either my washer or my dryer, but those clothes can sit. I'm not doing nothing. Southwest lately. No. Let's see. Southwest, the dramatic irony is that they didn't realize that we only flew with them because we got 2 bags fly free, and you could low-key pick the seat that you wanted to. High-key, you could pick the seat you wanted to depending on your boarding order. Southwest announced that they were no longer doing open seating. It's like, okay, that's interesting. Like, that's fine, I guess, but that's interesting. And then they're like, oh, also 2 bags aren't flying free. Southwest, girly pop, is you cool? Like, is you good? Everything all right over there? Because you're taking away 2 policies that's the reason everyone books with you. Like, I'm going to be honest. Southwest is not my preferred airline unless I'm checking in a bag and I got somewhere to be. You know what I'm saying? Because I think checking in a bag, it ranges from like $30 to $50. So that's a lot of money. If I'm doing round trip, I'm saving $100. That's a lot of money to me. So it's like, Southwest, you're enacting all these policies and you're like not reading the room. I'm super confused by Southwest. And also they've enacted this policy, or I guess they've always had the policy of if your hips encroach on another seat, you have to buy 2 seats. So many issues with that. First off, them seats little. I remember like years ago, Southwest airplane seats have just gotten smaller and I have gotten bigger. Like, I've been flying since I was 4 years old. So obviously I've gotten, things weren't as they were when I was a little kid, but airplane seats have gotten smaller. That's a fact. So you're enacting this policy where if your hips encroach into another seat, you have to buy another seat. Fine. But also people are forgetting like shoulders can also encroach into another seat because there's no one size fits all policy. It's not like when you're checking in your bag, they measure the width of your hips. They just look and they're like, you're too big, so you need 2 seats. I don't know what's going on with Southwest, but their policies have just been very like head scratching, and they don't recognize like there's other airlines out there that are doing the same, providing the same service, getting me from point A to point B, but they're not creating all this like hoorah around it. And it's like, Southwest, you took away open seating. That's what we loved about you. Like, I had no issue flying Southwest open seating as long as whenever it was time to check in, I was one of the first people to check in, so I could be like boarding group like B1. I think my sister, she would even be like, you know what, I'm finna pay them extra $10 so that I can be boarding group A and sit wherever I want. You've taken away a policy we love. And then the bags fly free. When I moved to New York, I flew with 2 suitcases. My mom came with me. She had 2 suitcases. That was so goated to have 4 checked luggages in, and it had my entire life. I saved like $200, so much money. And then my mom flew back with 2 checked luggage. Like, quit playing. Like, I need them to quit playing for real, because they're going to isolate their customer base, and we're in a recession. That's another thing I don't understand with a lot of these companies. We're in a recession and people don't have money. People are getting laid off. What they fail to realize is that if we don't have money, we're not going to pay, and we're also going to be more selective about what we choose. It's called the lipstick index, where you can't afford larger luxuries, so you choose to buy cheaper luxuries, i.e. lipstick. Lipstick is not a necessity, but a $38 lipstick versus a $700 flight to Aruba, like we're going to choose a lipstick. We're already there. We're already at the index. People are spending less money and they're spending more money on like attainable luxuries. Traveling trips, that's the first place you cut. Let's be so for real. That's why there were more people in the Hamptons than ever, is because it's way cheaper to go to the Hamptons than it is typically people will go to Europe. That's why certain places like Miami, Houston, like why they're jumping, because people can't afford to go elsewhere. So it's like, Southwest, girl, do you not need money? Do you not want money? Do you not want happy customers? I'm so confused. And it's like, are you guys on social media? Because 15 minutes on TikTok, 15 minutes on Twitter will tell y'all like, you in danger. You in danger, girl. Like, you are kind of playing with people's money. And I don't understand what their full, like, their goal is, because I feel like I know something they don't. I know that like their customer base is very unhappy and it's thinning by the day, and they don't know that. All right, moving on to the rap girlies. Woo wee. Not too much on them because I don't want to end up in like a documentary. But Latto recently announced that she's having a kid, and I think the dramatic irony here is that we know just by history that whenever women have children, their career kind of takes a downturn, especially in like entertainment industries. And it's a little head scratching to me that the rap girlies having babies quite early in their career. It just makes me sad because I don't know where they're going to go from here that's up. Like, I look at like Flo Milli, Mona Leo, like I really like them and I listen to their music, but I've noticed a downturn in their career. Also, not a rap girly, but Halle Bailey. I mean, she was a Disney princess. I don't think she's gonna work with Disney again. I hope that's not true, but I mean, the whole point, especially with Disney, like the Disney bag, they want like somebody scot-free. That's why the Bachelorette, that whole season was pulled. Taylor Frankie Paul, there was a video of her engaging in inappropriate behavior. They pulled the whole, Disney owns ABC. They pulled the whole season, which is unprecedented because they don't play when it comes to that image. That's why like what's her name? Vanessa Hudgens, whenever her inappropriate pictures of her circulated before High School Musical 2, she got paid less than everybody else, even though she was the main character. They do not play. So it's like, you're kind of messing up your bag a little bit. Like, I could definitely see Latto. I mean, listen, Latto's a rapper, so I don't know if Disney would definitely be like doing any brand deals with her, but I could definitely see Latto like her music in like a TV show, like a movie, like the soundtrack. Like I could see her on the soundtrack, you know what I'm saying? The irony here is like, do y'all not know that these choices are going to impact your rap career? And you guys have put so much work. I think one of my favorite things is about the new age rap girlies is that I've seen them come up. Flo Milli, I was listening to Flo Milli 2020 up when I step in the party on my body. Like I was whipping my Nissan, blasting her album. So it's like I want to see her rise, and I want to see her successful, and I want to see her in the know, in the news. I want the best for them, and it's hard knowing that they're not going to be able to enter certain rooms, or that the certain decision makers aren't going to value them or hire them or respect them because of the choices they've made outside of their career. And finally, Shea Moisture. So I posted a TikTok video about how Shea Moisture was trying to become culturally relevant with Black women again. And it's one of my most viral videos. The comments, heinous. So Shea Moisture released an ad campaign, and it had like some of my favorite people, Clark Peoples, it had Serena, Masai Russell, and it was like a silk press theme. So it was a really cute ad campaign. It was basically like paparazzi. It's like, oh my gosh, Serena, look here, click here. And she's flipping that silk press, that the press is like, she's literally, let me see if I can, like it's it's the silk press moving, and it was just a really cute idea, cute campaign, paparazzi. It was fun. But I said this campaign was a way to become culturally relevant with Black women because in 2017, Shea Moisture came out with this campaign about hair hate, and it had two non-Black women talking about how society has talked poorly about their hair. And while that is their experience, there's literally the Crown Act that protects employers from discriminating against Black people's hair, or type 4 coily hair. So it's like you have an ad campaign talking about two people who say their hair is ugly when historically Black women have been told for centuries that their hair is ugly. You know what I'm saying? It was a big whiff. And what that campaign was trying to do was trying to signal to non-Black people that, hey, Shea Moisture can work for your hair too, because Shea Moisture at that time was very focused on Black women. I mean, all of my friends at the time, 2017, I was in college, everyone I knew, all the black girls were using Shea Moisture. That was also like the peak of the natural hair movement. Everybody was using Shea Moisture. It was Shea Moisture, Shea Moisture. They had like 8 different lines. If you were going from, constantly getting your hair permed to going natural, the first product people told you to use that Shea Moisture. It was very culturally relevant with black women, and that campaign was trying to tell non-black women, like, hey, if you have curly hair, you can use our products too. That did not go over well with the target audience, and everybody washed their hands with them. Pack, 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 throw it away. Also, a lot of people were saying that their formulas had changed and that the products that used to work for their hair weren't. And that was also kind of a shift of Shea Moisture wanted to target, other hair textures. And it's like, if you have a brand that, let's say, has a lot of oil, that's not going to work with certain people's hair types if they have looser types. So they were also shifting their products. People were like, nah, we're done. Pack it up, hang it up, flat screen. We're done with this. So now in 2026, Shea Moisture has noticed that their pivot towards people who have non-black hair textures didn't really go well. So now they're trying to be like, okay, let's go back to let's regroup. Let's go back to our home base. So the dramatic irony here is that the girlies are not with Shea Moisture. The comments, the comments were crazy. I would read some for you, but I'm on my phone. I'm recording on my phone. But the gist was like, happy for Serena and Clark to get y'all back, but we not going back. The products gave me headaches. I didn't like the products. It stopped working for me. They played in that 2017 campaign. I'll never use them again. And I think Shea Moisture, they're kind of in a pickle because maybe they don't recognize how out of favor they are with black women. So these campaigns to push towards black women are kind of falling on deaf ears. And it's almost to the point where I'm like, I don't even know if you should just go back to being culturally relevant with black women or try to get other hair types. Like, I don't even know what they should do, but the girlies, they're not going back to Shea Moisture. Also, the natural hair landscape has changed so much since 2017, 2016. Like I mentioned, if you were going natural, it was Shea Moisture. Now, there's so much more education about what products actually work for your hair that people aren't just using black hair care lines anymore. Like, when I think about black hair care, I think about, obviously, Shea Moisture, Mielle, Carol's Daughter. But now people are like, no, I can use Redken. I can use Way. I can use Amika. I can use so many other brands. And then, of course, Pattern. People love Pattern, Sacred. Like, they're recognizing L'Oreal. They're recognizing that they don't have to use brands that work specifically for black hair care. They are more so focused on brands that help with their hair type. So if you have very dry hair, high porosity, low porosity, there's so much more education about what works for your hair that people are no longer thinking, okay, I can only use Shea Moisture, I can only use Mielle. It's like, wait, let's take a step back. What's wrong with my hair? My hair is dry and damaged. Okay, so let me find a product that works for dry and damaged hair. Maybe I need a protein treatment. Like, the hair landscape has changed so much, and I don't know how Shea Moisture is going to fall back in favor or regain favor, because those comments, I'll do a little, I'll overlay a video and I'll scroll through the comments if you guys are watching live or watching on video. It doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. It's not great. So that's kind of like, I don't know what Shea Moisture is going to do. Like, I'm literally speechless because yeah. I have one closing PSA for this episode. If the audience knows before you do, you're already behind. That's all for today's episode of Read Her Like a Book. As always, read the media before it reads you, and I'll see you on the next page. Bye. All right, y'all, I'm gonna go pack and clean my apartment and cook and do all the million things I do before I leave. Bye.